time.
Yeah. So basically, I have completed my bachelor's in electronics and telecommunications engineering in 2015. As I am from electronics and telecom background, so I started my first job in the telecom company called Gemini Communications, where I used to interact with their in customers. It was
Hmm.
related to network related activities like configuration of switches and routers, and if any network outage happens, so I used to fix for them. And based on the incidents history, I used to prepare the ad hoc report for the
Okay.
customers. And over there, I found like I'm good at preparing the reports and playing around with the data. So I started
Hmm.
learning Excel, and over the
Okay.
period of time, I got chance to directly work with the Tata Communications, where it was the client for the Gemini.
Hmm.
So at the client side, I started as an associate engineer, and my primary work was to monitor the fiber optic network and understand what kind of incidents may we receive on major basis. Based on the
Okay.
overall pattern and behavior, I used to prepare the uh, ad hoc report for the network, entire network, like what kind of issues we are receiving, how long it takes to fix the issue, and what kind of measures we follow to fix the issue. And based on the patterns, uh, I used to recommend to the system or to the management basically, like what kind of measures can be follow in order to reduce the turnaround time or total resolution time. So later
Okay.
on, that particular thing, like it was initially into the pure Excel, but they had their own Tableau platform. So I integrated the same into the Tableau using the logs. Like basically, we got service now. I shifted those data to the SQL environment with the help of a DBA team, and later on, from SQL environment, I prepared a data frame which can be helpful for preparing the final dashboard for the Tableau. So in that dashboard,
Okay.
the higher management can track what kind of devices are deployed into the network and how long it takes time if any error happens, like based on the type of
Hmm.
error, and what kind
Hmm.
of incidents we are getting on very high basis. Netness statistics was there, which is been used by higher level management to keep the network optimized and working. So basically that net like to handle the live IPL match or delivering the F1 race, so the live event delivery basically. So that's why it was in the light. So that dashboard really helped the higher management to track the underlying activities whatever happening within the network. So later on, I got chance to work with the Zensar technology, and the client was Cisco. So over here, I closely worked with the sales team across the globe and different account manager for the different client of Cisco. So basically, they used to extend their subscription with their end customers. So whenever they do a renovation of their existing subscriptions and they face any issue in the historical purchase, so they used to connect with us and with the certain requirement. For example, let's say they have a Facebook as a client and they want to renew a certain subscriptions of the Facebook, subscription in the sense subscription of the on-prem devices and the cloud devices, switch, router, firewall, so that kind of products they had. And if they face any issue on a historical purchase, so they used to connect with us with the order number and related details. So based on that input, I used to write a custom SQL query to retrieve the relevant data and prepare the ad hoc report for them, where they can see the total credits associated with the missing orders. And if that has been approved from the finance team, then they used to book the deal. And based on the updated data, I used to work with the DBA team to get update those data from the backend side. And at the final stage, I used to prepare the inventory report for them, where they can see their entire historical purchase, like number of routers, switches, number of licenses, and how much licenses has been deployed into the network, and how much credit amount is present into their account, net into customer account basically. So
Okay.
it was that dashboard actually helped sales team to book and fix the orders and track the live activities of their in customer based on their actual utilization and forecasted utilization. So that helped sales team and account manager to deal with the in customer basically. So over there
Mm-hmm.
I got a good exposure on applying the row level security and tuning the dashboards. Row level security plays very
Okay.
important role over there because the customer, like the end customer, had a global level of data, and there are multiple account manager associated with a single customer based on the sub regions.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to
Mm-hmm.
apply a row level security based on the region, so that only a account manager belongs to specific region can look only a specific data which is actually belongs to that region. So
Okay.
that's what. At my last workplace, I worked for the Ultimatric, and my client was the Mastercard. Over here, I got good exposure on a banking related project where I help in customer to develop the cross border transactions, like country to country and within country transactions, and
Mm-hmm.
how much revenue they are getting out of with online transaction, with card transaction. So that kind of activity they were tracking, and the final intention of that dashboard was to leverage the revenue in specific area where they are getting a very low revenue. So later on those dashboards has been used by the machine learning engineers to develop relevant data models. And yeah, that's it. Apart from that, I got good exposure to develop the pipeline in the Apache NiFi and Ultrix, and worked on the GCP to prepare relevant data, creating the extract at the Tableau server side. And in one of as a Tableau admin, where I had to migrate the workbooks from the Tableau server to Tableau cloud, and later on along with the permission, then preparing the scripts for the migration. And yeah, that's it, like doing the
Okay.
automation stuff
Okay.
and all. Yeah.
I can see you have worked on database as well. So Snowflake and MS SQL,
Yeah.
Microsoft Azure. Can you tell me how do you rate yourself on the scale of 5 in Tableau Server, Snowflake, and MS SQL?
A scale of 5, I would rate 4.5 because majority of my time I spent on Tableau server. For the
Okay.
Snowflake, I have done a couple of projects on the Snowflake, so I would rate 3.5 in Snowflake. Though it was client's requirements, I didn't get enough chance to stick with the Snowflake because they had multiple
Mm-hmm.
data sources over there. But MS
Yeah.
SQL,
Okay.
I got a very good exposure, like creating the table and triggering the extracts over there, creating a jobs basically to automate the refresh,
Mm-hmm.
and creating
Okay.
SSIS jobs. So I'm quite familiar with
Okay.
this.
You have also mentioned the big data. So,
Yeah,
what is your exposure to big data and the level of skill set that you have on
yeah.
big data?
Like I'm trying to enhance my skills towards the data engineering or the big data side, tech stack basically. So I have learned the Scala and the PySpark, and having entry level experience in the Hadoop scope, where like how to prepare the data frame within the Hive and call that particular data frame to develop a model in the PySpark. So I have not worked on any live project, but I am doing some offline capstone project to explore those particular skills.
Okay. So basically, learning experience you have in the big
Yeah,
data.
yeah,
Is it?
yeah.
Okay.
And
Okay.
I tried to approach client if the client have any related any
Mm-hmm.
small or big
Mm-hmm.
work related to big data stack. So uh, like in Apache
Okay.
NiFi,
The
where
scope of work.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So it helped me when the client had a requirement. They was searching for someone who has experience on Apache NiFi pipeline, and they were not able to find.
Mm-hmm.
So I just approached them and said I can learn it and will implement the pipeline. So meanwhile, if you got someone, that's fine. But meanwhile, I will try and demonstrate. So in 1.5 month, it took 1.5 month basically to prepare the pipeline. Though I had no background,
Okay.
but it went well, and I developed the live Tableau dashboard for the data frame also. So it is currently live.
Okay.
So it worked. So
Okay. Um, so how many products of the Tableau you are aware of? How many licenses? I mean, types of licenses that
uh,
you are aware?
there are many kind. It depends on the roles, like creator, explorer with publisher, then viewer, and then admin. So this type of,
Practically, did you work on all this?
yeah, when I was working on the migration project, so I worked on those part, like assigning those kind of licenses to end user based on their level of access for BI or for business stakeholder. As an example, uh,
Okay.
the stakeholder mostly asks for the viewer license, and a BI associated with those stakeholders ask for the creator license. Like that. It depends on the level of requirement they have.
Okay. Okay. Did you use Tableau Prep?
I did, but not in any live project. It is somewhat similar to Alteryx, I found, like to perform any ETL task or prepare the data from the multiple
Right.
sources.
Okay.
So it is quite similar to Alteryx. It is like Alteryx within a Tableau, in other words.
Mm-hmm. Okay. You said you have a lot of, exposure to MS SQL rather than Snowflake,
Hmm.
and you did work on the in the database as well.
Yeah.
So, are you aware of the data modeling in the SQL?
Data modeling in the sense, like I had prepared a data model based on the requirement, like dashboard requirement. The data was present into multiple tables basically, and what I had done, I created the diagram, and based on the uh, primary key relationship between one table to another table, I performed the joins and used a date table to integrate those all the records at the same place, to not lose any records, and prepared one data frame within the SQL, like created the view basically and implemented it within the SQL environment and
Okay.
used the.
Did you?
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah. Please go ahead.
And later on I used that view to create the extract at Tableau server side. So whenever client asks for any changes in backend side, so I only implemented those logic within the view, so that in underlying tables will not be disturbed, and that way it works, I
Okay.
think.
Are you aware of indexing in the SQL?
Yeah.
And have you worked with indexing?
Not in that level, but it is used to optimize the SQL query basically, and it
Mm-hmm.
defines when we create any table, and based on the primary key or any column that mostly recalled, we apply index on that and use.
Okay.
But it is
Did you work with SQL? Yeah, please go ahead. Sorry.
mostly that use where SQL query lacks in terms of runtime. So we try to figure out like on which field indexing can be applied. But as a BI side, I didn't get those chances. Mostly those has been handled
Mm-hmm.
by DBA side. But I have a
Okay.
little bit understanding of how it works in underlying.
Okay. Okay. Fine. Did you work with SQL procedure?
Store procedures. Yeah, I had
Yes.
used the store procedure and also triggers. Basically, store procedure is a kind of functions, a set of program or set of bunch of queries within the set of. It is kind of bunch of query
And
which with
why did you use it? Where did you use it? Can you give me the example?
yeah. So store procedure is used when any a particular
No, no, no.
criteria within.
I like the example from your project. You
Mhm.
what you did.
Yeah. So in my project, like the customer was trying to recall a certain numbers if the currency pair is crossing a threshold more than 2 point
Mm-hmm.
something. So in query, if the transaction total transaction ratio is more than 2%, then he wanted to call out some numbers along with the column. So those numbers were already calculated in another query. So if that percentage is less than 2.5, then I used to call the store procedure over there, and it triggers and return those numbers. So
Okay. Why did you use triggers?
trigger is mostly used when we have to update the table. Like for
Mm-hmm.
example, I worked on the live stream data. Like I developed the Apache NiFi pipeline, and it was a live stream data. So I wanted to update the
Okay.
table whenever I received the streamed data. So I had used trigger over there, and within the trigger,
Okay.
whenever any new trigger record hits to the SQL table, it will uh, what I did, I had a single string as an input, and I wanted to split that string into multiple columns. So within the trigger, I had used a split function and use that to apply on multiple column. So whenever a new record comes, trigger will execute those line, and my table will be updated with the relevant value of those particular string.
Okay.
That way I use.
Understood. Can you tell me the ways of performance improvement in the Tableau dashboard?
Yeah, there are multiple ways. Most of the things has been figured out uh, in UAT testing, basically whenever a new Tableau dashboard about to deploy in server. So
Right.
basically first step
Mm-hmm.
is to understand the exact requirement. Let's say dashboard, the dashboard is I mean a client has described what kind of dashboard they want, and as a PI I'll see to develop this dashboard what kind of fields I need. So based on that need, I will figure out how many fields do the backend table have. If that backend table is having more than the required fields, then I will try to cut down the unused field from backend itself with the help of any
Mm-hmm.
view or custom SQL maybe.
Mm-hmm.
That will help me to reduce the unused unnecessary data volume. That will cut down indirectly. So that would be the first. Second, I will see what kind of calculation need to develop, and
Mm-hmm.
based on that I'll try to go with the simple calculation, not too much complicated, and I'll try to use LOD function if that is not disturbing other figures as well. That is something in within the calculation part. And the third one is
Mm-hmm.
like based on the requirement, I'll try to see how many worksheets needs to be created within the Tableau workbook, and I'll try
Okay.
to keep it as minimum as possible based on the requirement. So these steps I will follow at the time of developing the dashboard. But let's say we got another scenario where existing Tableau dashboard is there and which is lagging in the performance. So I'll use the performance optimizer report in that particular Tableau dashboard, and as a normal user I will try to toggle around the dashboard, and based on my activity it will generate the report, right? So in that particular report I will see for which activity is taking more than 7 seconds. Let's say loading up the data, executing the underlying SQL query, underlying query basically, and number of worksheets within the workbook. So I will track the activity and will see for which kind of activity it is taking more time. So let's say it is taking more time to execute.
It is from the Tableau performance tuning, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So based on that, I will check if the underlying calculations are taking more time. So I will check what kind of calculations are developed to create the has been developed to create the numbers in the Tableau dashboard. And if possible, I'll try to cut down that calculation into two parts, or will try to merge the calculation to simple calculated field, so that, and at the same time I'll try to figure out like my whatever changes I'll do, it is not going to disturb other calculations as well. So that measure I will follow,
Okay.
and I'll recommend few things based on my analysis to client. If that got approved, then I can give the prepare the sample dashboard for them, and if that went well in UAT testing and all, then that can be considered as a optimized dashboard and developed to the deployed to the
Okay.
production side. Yeah.
Okay. Also, I would like to know your understanding of relationship, join, and data blending.
Yeah. So relationship comes on a logical level, where we have the data from the similar same database, data source basically, but have the multiple tables
Hmm.
within it. So we can use the relationship.
Okay.
It is like a join, but it happens on the logical level within a Tableau.
Mm-hmm.
Joining is something happens on the physical level based on the common attributes. We can do inner join, outer join, and that is initially in older version of Tableau, it was quickly available, but nowadays we are mostly preferring the relationship instead of joining. And
Mm-hmm.
the data blending comes when we have the multiple data sources and we have to develop dashboard the feeds from multiple data sources. So we use the data blending, and in the data blending we connect with the multiple data sources and bring that data to the Tableau environment and create the dashboard. But here issue is,
Okay.
in the data blending, as per the order of operation, the aggregation happen first and then it perform the joining. So it cause a disturbance, like it create a issue when we are developing any complex calculation, example LOD. So that sometime it throws wrong figure. So we have to
Okay.
be very careful while developing any calculation, like
Mm-hmm.
when we are using data blending.
Any live example in your projects?
Yeah, yeah, because my client had a Z ratio calculation, and in the Z ratio he had 17 different fields. Like he had used the 17 different fields in a
Mm.
fixed LOD, and he was dividing that with the total amount actually. So what happened, under the migration process, the some fields were not belong to the table, like from backend it shifted to different data source, and it was no more
Okay.
available in the backend. So that created issue and it started throwing the error, like error in the sense it is started throwing the incorrect figures in the LOD calculation.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So what I did to fix that particular issue, uh, initially I created a subset of data and fixed it, but later on I used a Windows function and tried to manage those calculation in the separate field, and then split it
Mm-hmm.
the LOD calculation, like he was dividing the stuff. So I created separate calculation for the divide operation and created a separate chart for them. So that way
Okay.
they were able to see the number that they wanted to see into their system.
Okay. And while you are explaining this join relationship and data blending, you said nowadays everybody prefers or you prefer to use relationship. Is there any specific reason why do we do that?
uh Not sure, but in Tableau itself, it happens quickly, and we can easily toggle around the type of join that we are doing in the relationship.
Okay.
I just
Okay.
said it based on my
Uh,
experience. Like I really don't have exact answer.
okay. What is the default join that Tableau uses?
The default join, uh, which is
Mm-hmm.
left join.
Okay. Okay. Fine. Uh, the okay. What is the most effective chart in the Tableau
Hmm.
which we can use to present or to evaluate sales versus target performance?
Sales versus target performance. So I think,
For
uh,
example, if we have the products,
mhm.
right? And products, we have few targets to meet every quarter maybe. right?
Mm-hmm.
So actual figures of sales and the target.
So I think uh, the, the best way is we can create a bullet chart where
Mm-hmm.
we can, in the single bar chart, we can showcase the target on the bar chart, and on the same bar
Okay.
we can highlight the sales happened for that particular product. So sales amount
Okay. Okay.
and then target will be like this. Or if target
Yeah.
is
Okay.
exceeded by sale, then sale will cross over the target. We can highlight that particular portion in different color also to give a more information, detailed information.
Okay. Okay. Right. Have you worked on the bullet chart?
I had done on my capstone projects, but
Okay.
actually
Uh,
the client, it all goes with the client requirement. I had suggested in some scenarios, but they ended up with the different chart. Like it's up to them, like
yeah. So
whichever they are
why
comfortable with.
did I ask you this question is,
Hmm.
if you have used the bullet chart,
Hmm.
maybe have you seen the with the cells and target thing, we also get few darker gray, then faint gray, and those bars as well automatically in the bullet chart. So do you know what those meant?
It may associated with the outliers within the data.
Okay, but I mean, have you experienced it?
Not on high level, but
No, no problem, no problem. I'm just asking, curious to
yeah,
know whether you have studied the bullet chart
I developed for
closely.
the mini projects. Like what I do actually,
Okay.
uh, parallel to my job, I explore some good dashboards from the Tableau public. Like many author published their dashboards, so I try to
Right.
decode their work. So that
Mhm.
encouraged me to learn more and excel. So I had, it's not like I didn't use or I didn't implemented bullet chart, but not on high level in project. But yeah, I'm well aware how to implement it. You know.
Okay, that's fine. Do you have Tableau right now with you?
Yes, I do have. Let me open.
Okay, I have two very simple assignments for you.
Mm-hmm.
First assignment is, I would like you to show me the uh, top n profit, top and bottom n profit
Mm-hmm.
in the same worksheet.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and there should be the input from a user side. So basically, I have the, if I input 5 in the top
Mm-hmm.
and 6 in the bottom, our graph should show me the top 5 profitable products and bottom 6
Mm-hmm.
profitable products in the same worksheet. I would like you to show me
Got you.
this
Got you.
on in your tablet.
Yeah. Let me open the tablet desktop for that. I think for this particular, we can use set and we can create a
Can
parameter.
can can you share your screen, please?
Yeah, yeah. It's opening. Let me share my screen. So,
Yeah, no worries.
I'm opening it like close accidentally. So let me open. Let me know if you're able to see my screen.
Yeah, I can see your
Okay.
screen now.
You can see my screen, right? Because I'm not sure like it's a single screen.
Yes, yes, I can.
Okay. So we can do it with the cells. Uh, okay. So we can try this with the product name and sales, right?
Yeah, please. Sales, profit, whatever you like to.
Okay. Let's try. So user one dot control to see. So first I'll create a parameter for that. So let me call. Mm,
Okay. Is it changing with the input?
yeah, but I'm trying to bring bar chart here to by adjusting the chart.
Actually, this might be a very small number. That's the reason those bars are not
Yeah,
coming in because
this
those are
this one is,
bottom products, right?
yeah, these are bottom and these are top one.
So those must be lesser than $10. बहुत कम होगा वो.
Yeah, it's very
इसके लिए
minimal.
नहीं दिख रहा है वो.
$6, $7.
Yeah, that's the reason
If it,
it's not showing.
if it is profit, it would have shown in the negative axis, like negative profit.
No worries.
Yeah. So
Maybe this so for the if I wanted to have input for bottom 10, then you would have done similar to what you have done for the top 10. Is it correct?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, okay, fine. I think I'm okay with this. Now I have question on the same. What if I would like to have user
Hmm.
a choice to select between sales and profit? So, for example, I would like to have input for the user. If the user selects sales, it should show sales graph.
Hmm.
If user selects profit, it should show profit graph in the same spreadsheet, in the same worksheet.
Over here. So we can create a parameter and give create a one calculated field where, let me
Yeah,
show.
please show me. Yeah.
Uh, let me try. Mm, I little bit forgot the syntax. it is working for profit, but sales, I think need to fix something. Sales number is not reflecting here.
Why it is giving me the two graphs?
Ah,
What I would have liked to do is ये सेल्स का जो आपने बनाया था ना पहला,
ये वाला.
so if I select profit, then it should show me the profit. If I
Correct.
select sales, then it should show me the sales.
Correct. So, yes, got it. I will have to create set for this also.
Can you show me the code
Yeah.
for sales and profit?
It is
Okay.
showing figures for profit.
I think you have done this thing wrong, I guess. Okay, that's fine. Um, one more thing I want you to do for me
Mm-hmm.
is create a line chart
Mm-hmm.
for rolling 12 month sales. So with the order date, for example, we have the order date field, right?
Yeah.
So whatever date I select from that previous 12 months line chart, rolling sales का आना चाहिए.